Okay, so our class today, we are going to talk about circles. We are going to learn how to calculate the circumference of a circle, which is also its perimeter, and then we'll also look at calculating the area of a circle. All right, so I do have a quick video to show, focusing on these key terms here for circles. Its diameter, its radius, and then what is pi, which we already talked about a little bit already. We talked about pi here. It's a really long number. It just keeps going and going. It never ends, so it never terminates, and it never repeats. So it's a very specific, in a very specific category, which is called irrational numbers. So that is pi. So we just finished watching that video, the mathematics on circles and what is pi. So quickly here, we're just going to do a little bit of a review of what is radius and what is diameter. So like we learned in the video, the diameter of a circle goes from one end of the circle through the center of the circle all the way to the other side of the circle. That's the diameter. And then a radius, it's only from the center of the circle to any point on the outside or surface of the circle. All right, so for example, in this example, we have to calculate the radius and the diameter. So radius is going to be 5 millimeters. And if we double that, 5 times 2, our diameter will be 10 millimeters. For the next one, this is our diameter. It's all the way across the circle, so 12 centimeters. All right, if our diameter is 12 centimeters, what will our radius be? Yep, we just divide it by 2, so half of 12, which will be 6 centimeters. All right, so here we're given radius, again, from the center of the circle to the outside. So radius is given as 9 meters. If we double that, we can get our diameter. So therefore, our diameter will be, that is correct, 18. And last one, again, it's all the way across. So that is the diameter of the circle. That is 16 kilometers. So just to get its radius, it would be half of 16. So therefore 8 kilometers. All right, so that's just a quick review, making sure you know how to get the radius or the diameter from a circle, because we'll need to know those when we start calculating circumference and area of a circle. All right, that was just the answer key. All right, so next we're going to start looking at the circumference as well as the area. And like I said, we do need to know pi to be able to make those calculations. We already talked about pi being an irrational number, meaning it never ends, it never repeats. So when we're in junior high, we're just going to use the first 2 decimal places. So we're just going to use 3.14 when making our calculations. All right, so the definition of circumference is the distance around a circle. Okay, so the distance around a circle, which we know as perimeter. When we were looking at polygons, we called it perimeter, but for a circle, it has a specific term for it. It's called its circumference. Again, we can see diameter here. We can see a radius here from the central point to the outside of the circle. Again, just another diagram showing the diameter is all the way across, going through the center of the circle. Radius is just from the center to the outside of the circle. All right, so there are 2 formulas you can use for circumference. You can use the formula C equals 2 pi r. C stands for circumference. This is the symbol for pi. R stands for radius. The other formula you can use is C equals pi d. Again, C stands for circumference, and the d stands for diameter. So let's take a look at our first example here. Find the circumference of a circle that has a diameter of 14 meters. So like I said, you can use either of those formulas. So you can use circumference equals 2 pi r, or you can use circumference equals pi d. So in this question, we are given the diameter. The diameter is 14 meters. So we can just go ahead and use RC equals pi d. And we're going to use 3.14 for pi, 3.14, and the diameter is 14. All right, so we just got to multiply 3.14 times 14. Just put that into your calculator, and you should get 43.96 meters long for the circumference. Let's try that again if we were using 2 pi r. If we're using r, our radius here would be 14 divided by 2, which would give me 7 meters. So if you want to use radius, then c equals 2 pi r, which is 2 times 3.14 times 7, and you'll still end up with the same answer of 43.96 meters. All right, so just to show here, you can use either formula, but you'll still end up with the same answer. All right, for example number 2, find the circumference of a circle that has a radius of, well, it says 7 meters here and it's showing 5 meters, so let's just change this to 5. That's just inaccurate. So 5 centimeters. Let's change that to centimeters. Okay, so let's use our formula. C equals 2 pi r because we have the radius. So 2 times 3.14 times 5. So again, just pop that into the calculator. 2 times 3.14 times 5. And we get 31.4 centimeters. So we're just going to go over this one. So here we're given diameter. So I'm just going to use the formula pi d. So 3.14 is what we're using for pi. Diameter is 24. So the circumference, again, which is distance around the circle, is 3.14 times 24, which is 75.36, and units are just meters. For this one, we are given the radius, so I'm going to use the formula 2 pi r because we're given radius. So 2 times 3.14 times the radius, which is 3.2, and that gives me my circumference of 20.096, and again the units there are meters. Good. Okay, so next we are looking at the area of a circle. The formula for the area of a circle is pi r squared. You do have to know the radius to solve the area of a circle. So if you're given diameter, make sure you are calculating radius first before substituting it in there. So r squared, that means pi times r times r. A common mistake students make is they'll take r and multiply it by 2, but anytime you have a squared, it means you're taking that base there and multiplying it to itself 2 times. So its area equals pi times r times r. So let's look at our first example here. Find the area of a circle with a diameter of 26 centimeters. All right, so it's diameter that is given to us. For the formula, area equals pi r squared, we need our radius. Okay, so to calculate radius, our radius is half of the diameter, so 26 divided by 2, so so therefore 13 centimeters is our radius. So now we can go ahead and plug that into our formula here. For pi, we're using 3.14 radius squared. That means it's 13 times 13. Okay, and then you would just put that into your calculator and you should end up with 530.66, and because it's area, your units are squared. So centimeters squared in this case. So the first one, the radius is given to us. The diameter is given to us. It's 24 meters. So before we can solve, we have to calculate the radius. So our radius will be 24 divided by 2, which is 12 meters. Okay, so now we can go ahead and plug that into our formula. So area equals pi r squared. So 3.14 times radius squared, which is 12 times 12. All right, so that gives me my answer of 452.16, and that is meters squared. Don't forget, units for area are always squared. And for the second one, we are given radius 3.2 meters. So pi r squared, 3.14 times 3.2 times 3.2. Okay, and then put that in your calculator. You will get 32.15. We'll round it to 15, and that is meters squared. So next, for problem solving, our first question. Jose has a circular dartboard. The bullseye has a diameter of 14 millimeters. What is the area of the bullseye? So usually when you're working on problem solving, it's a good idea sometimes to draw yourself a little diagram. The second example, Kaylee and Rory have a circular swimming pool. The pool has a cover that fits snugly over the top of it. The radius of the pool is 11 feet. What is the surface area of the cover? All right, so here for the first problem, which we're figuring out the area of the bullseye, we are given diameter. So the first thing we'd have to do is figure out the radius. So radius would be 14 divided by 2, which gives me 7 millimeters. So next is our formula for a circle. Area equals pi r squared. So 3.14 times 7 times 7, and that gives me 153.86, and that would be millimeters squared. Okay, for our second one, figuring out the area of that cover, we're given that the radius is 11 feet. So we're already given radius, so we can just go ahead and put that into our formula. So 3.14 times 11 times 11, which gives me 379.94 feet squared. Okay, so here the first question, John has a round swimming pool. The distance from the center of the pool to the edge is 3 meters. What is the diameter of the pool? So there's the circle. The distance from the center of the pool to the edge is 3 meters. That therefore is the radius. So the diameter would be double that. So 3 times 2, so therefore 6 meters. Second question, find the approximate length of the equator if the diameter of the Earth is 12,750 kilometers. So we're looking for circumference, and in this case we are given diameter, so I'm just going to use the formula pi d. So 3.14 times the diameter, 12,750 kilometers, and your answer would be 40,035. and it's just kilometers because it's just the distance, right? We didn't solve for area, we just solved for distance. So your units are just kilometers. Okay, so I'm going to pause here for today.